Donald Trump and Joe Biden faced off, and China is using the debate as propaganda to push their authoritarian model. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. 2020 has sure thrown a lot of disasters at us. The latest disaster being the U.S. presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
But you
I just want to make sure.
Joe, you're the
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
God.
I got rid of the individual mandate.
I'm going to give you an opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a big chunk of
Obama.
That is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst part of Obamacare.
Sir,
Chris, that was the worst part of Obama.
It is at this point that I would like to remind everyone, I am running for supreme leader of these United States for life. I, for one, pledge to never interrupt my opponent, because no one will dare to run against me. Anyway, do you know who was thrilled that this week's U.S. presidential debate was such a hot mess? Okay, yeah, but I'm actually talking about someone else. That's right. The Chinese Communist Party was thrilled because they can use the debate as a way to criticize democracy itself. China Daily's state-run media reporter, I use that term loosely, Chen Weihua, tweeted, in the first segment, they seemed incapable of observing the debate rules. Okay, yeah, that's fair criticism. And my favorite Chinese state-run media, the Global Times, wrote, the U.S. presidential debate is not an occasion for observers to learn what policies the candidates would make after they get elected, but an opportunity for the candidates to attack, accuse, and stigmatize each other. Okay, even a broken clock is right twice a day. For decades, Beijing has criticized U.S.-style democracy, holding up very real flaws in the American system. Trump helped to bolster that view, and in turn, further erode global confidence in U.S.-style democracy. Just to be clear, those last two quotes weren't Chinese state-run media, they were CNN. But this criticism isn't new. For a long time, the Chinese Communist Party has been trying to portray democracy as chaotic and broken. In the 2016 presidential debate, doesn't that seem like a long time ago? State-run China Daily said the debate showed democracy was ill. And I don't think they meant ill in the Beastie Boys sense, for which you may need a license. Chinese state-run media meant that such chaos and disorder tells the world that the U.S. is sick, and U.S. democracy is dead. And that's how China is trying to spin this year's debate. Hu Xijin, the fantastic editor-in-chief of the Global Times, tweeted, such a chaos at the top of U.S. politics reflects division, anxiety of U.S. society, and the accelerating loss of advantages of the U.S. political system. So clearly the conclusion the Chinese Communist Party wants you and the world to come to is that U.S. democracy is chaotic and bad. And so really, that's why what's really superior is China's system of efficient one-party rule, or as the Communist Party calls it, and I'm not making this up, the People's Democratic Dictatorship. That's why, in the Trump-Biden debate chaos, China and other opponents of democracy are the big winners. Communist China doesn't have nasty presidential debates. They don't have any kind of debate. The Communist Party tells everyone what to think, and if you hold the politically incorrect views, there's always the growing number of internment camps that can help re-educate you. And if your heart's still in the wrong place, they'd be happy to remove it for you. So it's nice that all these Chinese state-run media people can go on Twitter, which is, by the way, banned in China, and complain about how chaotic and nasty American democracy is. But which is nastier? These debates, where people with opposing viewpoints get to make their case, even if they do it badly, or a system where the guy at the top purges all political opposition and leaves no room for debate at all? So while this may sound like chaos,
Here's the
Bernie
deal.
Sanders said the
The
manifesto.
whole idea,
let him.
there is no manifesto.
it's music to my ears compared to what the Chinese Communist Party wants for the world. And now, it's fan Q&A time. At the end of most episodes, I answer a question from a fan who supports the show on the crowdfunding website Patreon. Today's question comes from Matthew Etzel. Chris & Co. I keep seeing worldwide reports on cases of COVID-19, and the PRC is always shockingly low on these charts, not even topping 100,000 confirmed cases. Why is it that everyone believes this flagrant lie, and is it even possible to get an accurate estimate? You know, that is a great question. The Chinese Communist Party, very obviously, has been lying about the coronavirus since day one. That's, why we have a global pandemic in the first place. And yet the idea that the US has more cases than China is repeated by media after media after media, because no one questions the numbers officially reported by the Communist Party. And although there were a lot of questionable things said at this week's presidential debate, this is one thing Trump did get right.
And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand.
So why do people believe China's numbers? Most people just don't know how much the Chinese Communist Party manipulates statistics, and it's hard to prove. But is there an accurate way to estimate the actual number of coronavirus cases or deaths in China? At this point, no. Some scientists have tried to estimate what the real count could be, but the problem is that if they use any publicly released data from China to do so, then their estimates are inaccurate too. There have also been a few data leaks about the coronavirus in China, but so far, nothing that's enough to figure out the real numbers for the whole country. Honestly, most people aren't paying attention to the numbers in China anymore because they're too worried about the coronavirus cases wherever they live. So the Chinese Communist Party just gets away with it. Again. Thanks for your question, Matthew. And thank you for watching. If you like the show, be sure to hit that subscribe button and share this episode with your friends and family. The Chinese Communist Party really hates that. And if you want me to answer your question on the show, along with a bunch of other cool perks, join what I call the China Uncensored 50-cent army over at patreon.com/China Uncensored. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.